Hello, I'm Jeff Jackson, trained ISO 13485 lead auditor and director of quality at CriTech Research for 19 years, where I was responsible for maintaining and improving our ISO 13485 certified quality system. In the over 30 years of its existence, CriTech has assisted with software development and verification for hundreds of medical devices with a 100% first-time approval rate by FDA for work we've done. The need for device software to be high quality is so obvious, you might wonder why it even needs to be discussed. But in my 40 plus years in the software industry, I've witnessed many situations where software quality took a back seat to, quote, getting it done, unquote, or a release only happened after massive schedule and budget overruns, which in my opinion could have been avoided with better practices. In this video, I'll provide some reasons why I believe this happens and identify 4 principles I think are key to the successful development of high-quality medical device software. Every device manufacturer is aware that regulatory approval is needed to sell their products, and that they must have a quality system compliant with applicable standards and regulations, such as the FDA Quality System Regulation, the European Community Medical Device Regulation, and ISO 13485. And to get a device approved, they must submit a package of documents and data demonstrating the device is safe and effective for its intended use. This is just as true for the software in the device as it is for the hardware. And yet, many device makers struggle with producing software in a timely and cost-effective manner and to produce documentation that can pass regulatory scrutiny. Why? Among the reasons, I believe, are misconceptions about how to approach software development. The 4 principles I describe here would go a long way toward reducing the problems they encounter. Principle 1. Standards are your friends. It's tempting to see a software development standard like IEC 62304 as only a set of hoops to jump through, using the minimum necessary to show compliance. But that attitude will sabotage your development effort, as I have seen many times. Attempting to shortcut the rules of the standard, or just do enough to get by, will lead to far higher costs if the device fails tests, fails in the field, or is recalled. IEC 62304 processes and activities need to be seen as tools that support development of a safe and effective device. They're in the standard because industry experts believe they add value. Use them as a framework to help you structure your software development, and use the appendices, which contain additional explanation and guidance on how to apply the standards. But 62304 is not a complete set of processes that may be needed, so it's important not to over-rely on it. In fact, one company decided to make 62304 their entire software quality system, as in word for word, which meant they did not invest the necessary time to understand what they really needed. It did not work out well for them. Principle 2. Software quality assurance begins before writing code. 62304 has defined processes for software development, risk assessment, configuration management, and problem resolution, but no process for software quality assurance, which is appropriate, as SQA is an integral part of every other process, and it needs to begin well before the first line of code is written. Begin SQA with software requirements. Ensure they are clear, concise, unambiguous, and testable. Poor requirements lead to poor design, code, and testing, and difficult traceability. And it should be needless to say, it's a bad idea to begin coding while leaving the requirements undocumented or incomplete. When that happens, companies call CriTech, so it's good for us, but far more costly for them than doing it properly from the start. Other bad practices I have seen include putting off design, code reviews and risk analysis, writing barely functional code, then going back later to, quote, harden it, unquote, changing the code without updating the requirements and design, and inadequate verification of outsourced or third-party code. These attempts to save time early on end up costing far more in time and money later on. A good SQA program prevents such shortcuts. Principle 3. Software quality cannot be tested in. Let me share a couple of statements you may find heretical. Testing cannot prove the software works correctly, and software that passes all its tests is no guarantee of quality. Testing is a part of verifying that the software meets its requirements. This is why a strong front end of requirements and design are key to good test design. Without it, you will experience a seemingly unending cycle of bugs detected, code patches, and schedule delays. I know, I've been there. But even with a strong front end, if you focus mainly on nominal success conditions, you'll overlook opportunities to find bugs, which is the true value-added part of software testing. In his classic textbook, The Art of Software Testing, Glenford Myers says a good test case is one that has a high likelihood of finding a bug, and a successful test case is one that does. And test the most error-prone portions of the software the hardest, such as safety-related code, very complex code, and situations that could cause a device failure if the software fails. Along with adding the most value, it's what FDA expects. Neither can safety be tested in. Risk control should be identified and tested early on, not bolted on at the end. Delaying risk analysis for last, as I have unfortunately witnessed, could result in major restructuring of the design, code, and testing that's already been completed, and it could be tempting to under-implement risk controls as a result. Principle 4. Everyone must be part of software QA. Everyone on the development team wants to produce high-quality software, but it's monumentally harder to accomplish if it's seen as someone else's responsibility, such as a person or department named software QA. At CriTech, we have a defined software QA engineer project role. They help ensure procedures are followed and good practices used, but our quality policy makes clear that everyone is responsible for the quality of the work they do. QA helps them be their best. Our software engineers are trained in our quality system processes and procedures, as well as writing good software requirements, using coding standards, documenting code reviews, and test design and execution. This training must be completed prior to starting work on a project. This way, the entire team is on the same page. In my opinion, high-quality software is not possible without this kind of training and set of standard practices. The 4 principles I just covered, seeing standards as useful tools instead of obstacles, building in quality from the very start of development, understanding the value-added part of testing, and involving the entire development team in software QA, are just part of a larger overall approach to successfully developing high-quality software. I consider them essential to a quality system geared toward making software part of a safe and effective medical device. I urge you to look at software standards and development practices with this new outlook, and see if it doesn't result in some improvements in your own development. Good luck.
See all the ways we can help you navigate medical device software development. Visit our recently updated website at www.critech.com.